In today's class, we are going to learn the equations of motion, which you have already learned in your lower classes. Okay, and this is a rectilinear motion because we are learning about the motion along a straight line. You can see here, you can see here, the motion is along a straight line, right? So it is called rectilinear motion, right? So now I'll explain how to apply equations of motion and what are these equations of motion. You can see here. So let us say we have a body. Initially it is moving with a velocity u, okay, and it has an acceleration a, and in a time of t seconds, after a time of t seconds, let its velocity be v, because I said it is moving with acceleration, its velocity should change with respect to time. Okay, so let us say after a time of t seconds, its velocity became v, right? And meanwhile, it has covered and displacement of s. Okay, so for such a situation, these equations are valid. These equations are valid. What are these equations? V equals to u plus at. S equals to ut plus half at square. V square minus u square equals to 2as. All these three equations you have learned in your lower classes, and these equations are applicable to the bodies which I have explained just now. Okay, for the bodies which are in the explained scenario. Okay, we have characterized the motion that initial velocity is u, final velocity is v after a time of t seconds, and its acceleration is a, and it is moving with a displacement s. What are the uses of this equation? These equations are helpful to determine the quantities. For example, if you consider the first equation, if you know the initial velocity, acceleration, then you can find the final velocity after a time of t second. Once again, I am repeating, the use of first equation is if you know the initial velocity of the body and the acceleration of the body, then you can find the velocity after a time of t seconds, which is called final velocity, right? So like this, we can use these equations in finding the physical quantities which are unknown for us. Okay, so once again, the second equation can be useful. Suppose u is the initial velocity, t is the time after which you want to find the displacement. It is helpful to find the displacement, right? Similarly, v square minus u square equals to 2as. It is helpful when we don't have any time quantity. Here you can see the last equation do not contain time. Okay, if you want to eliminate the time from the given equation, this equation is useful. U square minus v square equals to 2as, right? And what is u square here? What is u? U means what? U, initial velocity. Yes, u means initial velocity, and v means v means final velocity. A means acceleration, and s means s means displacement. Good. So these are the equations useful for analyzing the motion of a body. Okay, I think you have done problems about this, right? We'll move to the next one. We will do one sample problem. I'll be explaining how to solve a problem, right? Here, first thing you have to do is read the problem carefully. Here he says, find the velocity of a body after 3 seconds, which is started from rest, moving with an acceleration of 2 meter per second square. Everybody be with me. Okay, once again I'm ready. Find the velocity of a body after 3 seconds, which is started from rest and moving with an acceleration of 2 meter per second square. So whenever you are going to solve a numerical, the first step you need to do is you must write the data that is given in the problem. Okay, so first we need to write the data, given data. What is the data that is given? Okay, first thing you can find in the first line is he said after 3 seconds. He said after 3 seconds. That means you should note down, you should identify it as a time. Kada? Time ఇచ్చాడు, right? Next, next is saying which is started from rest. Which is started from rest. Yeah, that means initial velocity is 0. He said started. Started means initially. From rest means initial velocity is 0. Right? Okay. Then continue the sentence. And moving with an acceleration. He said he has given acceleration 2 meter per second square. Like this, you have to write all the data. Right? Then what is the thing we need to find out? The final velocity we need to find out. Final velocity we need to find out. Okay, now we are going to solve this problem using the equations of motion. And how many equations do we have? We have three equations. Okay, v equals to u plus at, s equals to ut plus half at square, u square minus v square equals to 2as. Okay, and one doubt I have, out of these three equations, which one is helpful for us? Good, the first one. How do we know that? How do we know that that equation is helpful? We can be knowing by observing the physical quantities. Here we have these physical quantities T, U, A, V. These physical quantities. You should find an equation which contains all these physical quantities. Which equation contains all these four? Only first one. Okay, second one contains a displacement, but we do not have displacement. Third one also contains a displacement, but we do not have displacement. Right? So only first equation contains the terms which involves all the physical quantities. Right? So in this way, you have to identify the equation which is helpful to solve the problem. Is it okay, everyone? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Afterwards, I won't be explaining because I'm giving you strong basics, right? So later onwards, you should solve the problems at your own. Now, so take down the equation that we know, okay? The equation we identified is v equals to u plus at. So we have taken that equation v equals to u plus at and substitute the values in the given equation. We need to find out v, right? U, initial velocity is 0, so keep 0 here. Acceleration 2 meter per second square, so 2. Time 3 seconds, 3. 2 threes are 6, 6 meter per second. Okay, so in this way you can find out any physical quantity from the equations of motion. Is it clear, everyone? Can you solve the problems now? Right. Okay, this is here up to now we have just revised the basics which you have already studied in your lower classes. Okay, still we haven't entered into our unit. Okay, and just one more quantity, physical quantity I want you to clarify: force and acceleration. Do you remember this formula, Newton's second law, F equals to ma? F equals to ma. So F means force, m means Mass. Good. A means acceleration. So force is a product of mass and acceleration. Force is a product of mass and acceleration. So here I just want to clarify one statement here. Here he is saying where there is an acceleration, there is net force. For sure. Is it true that if there is an acceleration, there is a net force? You know or don't know? Let me explain the things. Okay. If the statement is like that, you cannot understand. Right? Suppose, okay, all you are sitting, simply find the nearest wall to you and apply some force on the wall. Okay, apply some force on the wall, right? The wall is still at rest. Wall is still at rest. Is there any acceleration? Is there any acceleration? No, because wall is at rest, kada? Yeah, yeah. Let me put the things like this. Suppose you have a brick. You have a brick. Simply apply force on brick very hardly. Initially, the brick was at rest. After applying sufficient force, the brick starts moving. Okay, it started from rest and it is moving. That means there is a change in velocity, right? There is change in velocity in the brick. When there is a change in velocity in the brick, we say that there is an acceleration. Yes or no? There is an acceleration. Yes, acceleration is there because change in velocity is there. And who is the cause for this acceleration? Who is the cause? Which physical quantity is creating acceleration in the body? Force. Very good. So the force which we applied, it is creating acceleration. Okay. So when there is an acceleration, there must be some force because force is the cause and acceleration is the effect in the body. Okay. Whenever effect is there, we say that force is there. Whenever acceleration is there, we say someone is applying force. Is it true or not? We can say that if there is an acceleration, then there must be some force. Agreed, everyone? If there is an acceleration, there must be some force. Without any force, acceleration cannot be created. This is what Newton's second law says. Agreed, everyone? Good, good, right. Okay, and by observing, we can tell this. Okay, suppose a ball is moving here and there, its velocity is continuously changing, means there is some force acting on it. Otherwise, it cannot change. Yes or no? Right. Next, we'll consider a situation. You just see the statement. Okay, the statement which I just entered, it is showing in hand. You read the statement. The converse of this may not be true. What is the converse of this statement? Let us see. Converse means in reverse. Converse అంటే ఏంటి? Reverse అన్నమాట. You can see here what we are saying. We are saying that where there is an acceleration, there is a net force. If we want to state this in reverse, there is a net force, there is acceleration. Can it be true? When there is a force, there must be some acceleration. Can it be true? Yes, it may or may not be. Can you give some examples contrary to this? Yeah, exactly. Wall. You consider the wall. Okay, good, Fadia. Okay, pushing the wall. Just you apply force on the wall. Okay, but there is no acceleration. Though there is some force, there is no acceleration. It doesn't mean that you did not apply force. You are applying force, right? You are applying force and there is no acceleration. So this shows that there is no guarantee that if there is force, there will be some acceleration. Okay. So, but the converse, if there is an acceleration, I'm saying converse, if there is an acceleration, there must be some force which is creating this acceleration. Yes or no? Okay, this is what Newton's second law says. This is the actual meaning of Newton's second law, right? You might have studied this in your, I think, eighth class, right? Eighth class, but that is not sufficient age to understand that. Okay, so that is why I'm explaining it once again, right? Okay, we'll be moving further. Now, here, before starting the class, I said we are discussing about linear motion, rectilinear motion. That means motion along a straight line. All these three equations are applicable for motion along a straight line, right? Motion along a straight line, right? Now, we modify some of these quantities and we apply same equations of motion to vertically thrown up bodies and freely falling bodies. Okay, did you do this in your lower classes? Vertically projected bodies, freely falling bodies. Did you solve this in your lower classes, 9th or 10th class? Okay, okay, right. If already you have done this, it is very good. Okay, it takes me less time to explain you, right? Now, first of all, we try to understand the freely falling body and vertically projected body, right? Uh, Here, first you consider we have a beautiful building. Okay, we are standing at the bottom of the building and throwing a ball upwards, right? The ball is moving up. What happens? Okay, just imagine yourself that you just thrown up a ball vertically upwards. What happens? It goes high in the air and again comes back. Yes or no? It goes high in the air and again comes back. Right. Uh, Due to gravity, right, right, right. But good. At the top, the ball velocity is zero. Right, right. So when you throw up a body vertically upwards, what happens? Initially, the ball must have some velocity. But as the ball moves slowly upwards, its velocity decreases, decreases, decreases. It goes on, decreases, right? And finally, it becomes zero at certain point. When the velocity of the ball becomes a zero, it cannot go further. It stops there momentarily. I'm saying a fraction of seconds, right? So it stops there and again it falls back. Okay, again it falls back. Okay, so my question is very straightforward. When you throw a ball vertically upwards, the velocity decreases. Yes or no? Yes, yes, agreed, right? So that means there is change, there is a decrease in velocity. That means there is change in velocity, right? There is change in velocity. When there is a change in velocity, what is there? There is an acceleration. Yes or no? Yes, there is an acceleration. Agreed, everyone? Good. That's what I want to say, right? And coming to the next one. Suppose you're standing on the top of a top of a building and you're just dropping a ball. You're just dropping a ball. It is called freely falling body. You're dropping, not forcefully throwing. Okay, you're just dropping, right? So the moment the ball leaves your hand, initially what is its velocity? Zero. Initially its velocity is zero. But as the ball falls down, its velocity gradually increases. Okay, so it increases, right? Good. Again, my question is straight. There is a change in velocity in case of freely falling body. Yes or no? There is a change in velocity. Yes or no? Right. There is a change in velocity means there is an acceleration. Yes, there is an acceleration. So, what we can say, when you throw a ball vertically upwards or when you drop a ball from certain height, in both the cases, acceleration is produced in the ball. Yes or no? Acceleration is produced in the ball. Yes. Okay, who is giving that acceleration? Whenever there is an acceleration, there must be some force. I said just now we have discussed, right? Whenever there is an acceleration, there must be some force acting on it. Okay, good. Then it is the gravitational force which is giving this acceleration in the ball. Okay, when you throw a ball vertically upwards or when you allow a ball to fall freely, there will be some acceleration in the ball, and the acceleration created in the ball is because of gravitational force of the earth. Okay, because of that reason, we call this as acceleration due to gravity. We call this as acceleration due to gravity. Understood, everyone? Good. And okay, I think you have studied this, right? So, can you tell me what is the value of small g? 9.8. Unit, China, unit, be careful with the unit. It is meter per second square. 9.8, only 1%. Yes, it is 9.8 meter per second square. Is it constant or not? Some people are saying you're confusing me. Some are saying yes, some are saying no. Okay, let me help you. Actually, the acceleration due to gravity is not a constant one. Okay, it changes from place to place. It will be different at poles, it will be different at the equator. It changes according to the geographical nature, you know. If concrete buildings are more, it will be in a different shape. Okay, if forest is there, then there will be difference in acceleration due to gravity. It depends on so many factors, geographical factors. Okay, but but for the sake of solving the problems only, we take g value as 9.8 meter per second square. Okay, so it is an average value. So for the sake of just solving the problems, we take it as a 9.8 meter per second square. Sometimes you may be asked to take 10 meter per second square also. Okay, so if in the problem he mentions take g value as 10 meter per second square, then you should take. Okay, now you tell me, is the value of acceleration due to gravity constant? Yeah. Good. I got uniform answer, right? It is not a constant. Just for the sake of solving the problems only, we take it as a constant, right? Right. Now we compare horizontal and vertical motion. Okay. Here for horizontal motion, the problems just we have discussed. Horizontal motion లో మనం ఇందాక చెప్పుకున్నాం చూడండి. Just I'll show you. So ఇట్లాంటి problem. Suppose you throw a ball, then there is an acceleration produced in the ball. Okay, who is giving acceleration here? Acceleration is there, means some force must be there. Okay, who has given that force? For horizontal moving bodies, suppose you have just thrown, no, not China, not frictional force. Okay, you have thrown the ball. Okay, you have thrown the ball, our force, right? Good, it is our hand that given the force, right? So here the source of acceleration is external. Someone might apply some force, we must give the force. Otherwise, right? It will be like this. Suppose, If you throw something else, then you are supplying the force. Instead of that, suppose a car is moving. A car is moving horizontally. Who is supplying the necessary force to keep the car moving? Good. It is engine, right? ఇంజన్ ఇంజన్ అంటే ఇంజన్ కారు ఏదైనా పర్లేదు, కారు ఇంజను, కార్లో ఉండే పెట్రోలు ఫ్యూయల్ అన్ని. ఓకే, సో మొత్తం మీద అక్కడ ఎవరు సప్లై చేస్తున్నారు? అది కార్ కదా, కార్ ఇంజన్. సో యాక్సిలరేషన్ క్రియేట్ చేసింది ఎవరు? కార్ ఇంజన్. ఇక్కడ వీడు అడుగుతున్నది చూడండి. సో డూ యూ నో హూ ఈస్ గివింగ్ మీ యాక్సిలరేషన్? దట్ ఈస్ కార్. యాజ్ హీ ఈస్ సిట్టింగ్ ఇన్ కార్, కార్ ఈస్ గివింగ్ యాక్సిలరేషన్. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? ఎస్, రైట్, agree. Now here for freely falling bodies and vertically projected bodies, who is giving acceleration? For freely falling bodies and vertically projected bodies, yes, the acceleration produced in the body is because of Earth's gravitational force. You may think like that, sir, ball ఎగరేసింది నేనే కదా సార్, ఫోర్స్ ఇచ్చింది నేనే కదా. You may say like that, but the moment the ball leaves in your hand, the ball leaves your hand, it is no longer in your control, right? You can no longer apply force, right? Only gravity can apply force, right? Right. So now I have a question. Be ready to answer. Here, in case of horizontally moving bodies, the acceleration is given by some external agent like a car or human force, like that. In case of vertically projected bodies or freely falling bodies, the acceleration is given by gravitational force, right? What is the important difference between these two? I mean, you know, yeah, okay, okay, it will be okay now. China, is it okay now? Is my voice clear? Yeah, okay, okay, okay. It is due to network problem, right? So now tell me, here for horizontally moving bodies, for vertically moving bodies, the source of acceleration is different. Okay, so is there any other difference that you can observe? Let me help you. So for freely falling bodies, vertically projecting bodies, what is the value of acceleration you take for vertical motion? For vertical motion, freely falling bodies and vertically projected bodies, what is the value of acceleration you take? Good, 9.8 meter per second. Good, right? And for horizontally moving bodies, what is the value of acceleration you take? Yeah, 35 we cannot say. What about others? Come on, I'm not getting any answer. Yes, good, 91. It is not constant. Suppose you just simply imagine you are riding on a bike or car. You can increase your acceleration or you can decrease your acceleration. It depends on the engine's capacity. Yes or no? Okay. Suppose you are riding on a bike. You want more speed. What you do? మనం ఏం చేస్తాం? రేస్ చేస్తాం యాక్సిలరేటర్ పట్టుకొని కదా. సో అట్లా మనము హారిజంటల్ మోషన్లో అయితే యాక్సిలరేషన్ ఎవరి చేతిలో ఉంటుంది? అయితే ఇంజిన్ చేతిలో ఉండొచ్చు, లేదంటే హ్యూమన్. మనం వేసే బాల్, విసిరేసే బాల్ ఏదన్నా ఎక్కువ ఫోర్స్తో విసిరేయచ్చు, అది మన చేతిలో ఉంటుంది కదా. అదే వర్టికల్ మోషన్లో అయితే అది గ్రావిటేషనల్ ఫోర్స్ చేతిలో ఉంటుంది, మన చేతిలో ఉండదు. So this is the importance difference between horizontal motion and vertical motion, right? So in case of vertical motion, the acceleration is constant because it is given by gravitational force. Okay, but in case of horizontal motion, the acceleration is not constant. It depends on the situation, it depends on the engine, it depends on the capacity of the engine, it depends on the capacity of the person, right? So this is the important difference, right? Now we try to we try to apply we try to apply equations of motion we try to apply equations of motion to vertically projected body and freely falling body, right? Actually these things you have learned earlier, I'm just showing how to modify, right? And what are the things that are going to modify here? Earlier it was a displacement, right? Displacement. Now it becomes height. I'm just comparing horizontal. I'm just comparing between horizontal and vertical motion. Okay. So for horizontal motion, earlier it was displacement. Now it becomes height. కదా హారిజెంటల్ మోషన్ లో అయితే బాడీ ఒక ప్లేస్ నుంచి ఇంకో ప్లేస్కి వెళ్ళింది అనుకోండి, మనం ఏమంటాం? డిస్ప్లేస్ అయింది అంటాం. ఆ మధ్యలో ఉన్న దూరాన్ని మనం డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ అంటాం. అదే వర్టికల్ డైరెక్షన్ లో అయితే దాన్ని ఏమంటున్నాం? హైట్ అంటున్నాం. హైట్ అంటాం. అండ్ here, initial velocity, final velocity remains the same, whatever maybe they are. Time also remains the same. Only change is in acceleration. Here, acceleration is constant, and you can observe here, I have taken it negative. Why? Negative acceleration. And mind you that we are discussing a body which is thrown up vertically upwards. Okay. Why we have taken this g value as a negative? Exactly, good, 36. Because the motion, good, so many people are answering. The motion is opposite to the gravitational force. The gravitational force always try to attract the body downwards. But here we are throwing the body upwards. It is opposite. So the gravitational force acts in opposite direction. So the gravitational direct acceleration direction is also opposite to the velocity. So as the velocity is upward, gravitational acceleration is downwards. We have taken this acceleration as a negative. Okay. Now we apply changes to each and every one. We take the first equation v equals to u plus at and apply the changes here. V remains v, u remains u because v u and final and initial velocities no change. Only acceleration changes to minus g. Okay. So now this becomes what? V equals to u minus gt. This is an important equation, right? So likewise, all the three equations also we can change. We consider the next equation. S equals to ut plus half at square. Here, S becomes what? S means displacement. H, it becomes H. It becomes height now, right? Vertical displacement. Ut remains the same. Again, A becomes minus G, minus gt square, right? So the equation becomes H equals to ut minus half gt square. You need not mug up all these equations. Just remember the concept using which we are modifying these equations. So that if you want to modify, you can modify this at any time. Okay. Similarly, a final equation also there that you can do. Again, we go for freely falling body now. Okay, freely falling body. What is the change now? What is the change for vertically projected up bodies and freely falling bodies? Yes, exactly. The value of g. Now, acceleration due to gravity becomes positive because the ball is falling downward direction. Acceleration due to gravity is also acting downwards. Now it becomes a positive. Okay. Now we modify the equations accordingly. We have the first equation v equals to u plus at. Only changes in place of a we take g, right? V equals to u plus g, right? So likewise you can modify all the equations easily, right? Okay, so this is the end of our basics. Okay, and in the next class we will enter into projectile motion, right? So we stop here now.